back. So today on Mummahood The Podcast, we are joined with the lovely Vicki. Vicki is a mum to three, a hypnobirthing practitioner, and is soon to be a prenatal and postnatal yoga teacher. Yep. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous. I was just listening to some old ones. They're really good. So hopefully I live up to it.
No, honestly, this has been something that we've been wanting to do for so long. And then, as you guys all know, I had my kidney stones, and it ended up making us push this episode back because it was meant to be in the last season. But yeah, I'm just so glad that we finally got to settle in. And so let's just start off, Vicki. Talk about, obviously, I know you've got 3 children. Mm-hmm. If you want to tell us a little bit of your backstory on your children, your husband, just a little bit about you.
So, yeah, I've got 3. They're 7, 5, and then Millie is almost 2. I just kind of had a normal upbringing in Devon, grew up on a farm, then met my now husband at uni, moved up here, and then came to having a baby. And then that's when I kind of found hypnobirthing a little bit, because I think you're just surrounded by horror stories of birth. Having grown up on a farm, I was a bit like, it can't be that bad. Yeah. I've had sheep born in my kitchen. I've had cows born in the night. We had kittens under the bed, everything.
Wow.
Everything. So I did a bit of research, and then that's how I got into hypnobirthing, was the mammals bit. Because I was like, oh yeah, we're just animals.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was then Charlie was born in Brighton Hospital, and then Harry, who's 5, was born at home, and Millie was born at home.
Oh wow! So did you choose for those both to be at home?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
And did your first labour go to plan? Like, if there is a plan, you know?
Yeah, kind of. So yeah, I feel like I've jumped right into the hypnobirthing, but
no,
this is where I've kind of evolved from. Is the course that I did for Charlie, so my eldest, was hypnobirthing as most people think it is. So it was like home birth, silent water birth. You know, if you think of hypnobirthing, you think it's a home birth and you think the woman's having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think she's loving it.
Yeah.
We did that course. My husband was hooked on it. He was like, do you know what, actually it's not horrendous. It's not disgusting or everything that we kind of men often think.
Yeah.
But it wasn't silent, and it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't calm at points, do you know? It was scary, and it was, in a hospital, and I got out the birth pool. However, afterwards, I was like, oh, that hypnobirthing doesn't work. And then a few months later, I thought, do you know what? It was actually positive.
Yeah.
It was actually a good experience.
Do you know what as well? I think a lot of people don't really share their true birth story because they're scared to scare somebody else. So probably after you've had a baby and you talk to other people that have had babies, they probably didn't tell you while you were pregnant. And then when you hear about other people's, how bad it can be, it makes yours feel a lot better. Because I look back on my birth with Jude and I was like, that was horrendous, purely because they kept telling me I was 1 centimetre and I was 10. And on my first labour, I had nothing. I was doing hypnobirthing without even knowing what that was. I literally was just breathing, and everyone had to be on the other side. I was silent and still. And this time, I felt like I'd lost my complete calm because it was lockdown. I had nobody in the room with me. Yeah, so my little boy's dad wasn't there. And I literally was like, I need to push. And they were like, no, you're only 1 centimetre. You know, when someone's just not listening to you. So then I ended up losing my shit. And I was like, I'm really annoyed because I feel like I've ruined this whole calm.
Yeah.
You know.
And you put pressure on yourself for it, especially
you've already had a good one. Yeah. So what made you go from wanting to have a hospital birth to a home birth?
Just, to be fair, mainly convenience.
Yeah.
I already had a kid at home.
Yeah, you already had one there.
So it just made it a bit easier. But the hospital, it was really positive. I'm kind of been surrounded, everything in my life is negative birth stories. Everything anyone has told me has been like, it's going to be awful. So I'm a primary school teacher, which makes me a control freak. And I don't want to be out of control. There's never a time in my life where I want to feel that I am out of, do you know, I'm the most organised, lined up person you'll ever meet, laminated, colour-coded, the lot. So that was what scared me. I was like, I'm going to be out of control, and I'm going to be just almost a rag doll of somebody else's thing. Yeah. Do you know, and something's going to happen to me and I don't know what that is. So that was the bit that I was like, do you know what? I was in control the first time. Although it was, I was shouting, I was loud, and I was pissed off at times and, you know, wasn't uncomfortable the whole time.
No.
You're just not.
Yeah.
However, like having my husband's called Aaron, him having the knowledge, that gave me so much support. Because I was like, he knows what to do. He knows that if I have a wobbly minute, how to bring me back. And all of those things. So it was kind of trust in him, kind of convenience. And then, you know, I did do a lot of reading about statistics for home birth versus hospital birth. And do you know what? You know, you're just as safe for a low risk pregnancy to give birth at home.
You have a one-on-one midwife with you, don't you?
Two at the end.
So I think you actually get better care when it's just you at home, to be honest with you.
And your comfort, like that lack of control. In a hospital room, I didn't have control over who was coming in and out. And that didn't, you know, it didn't majorly affect things, but at home I did. And I had control over like what the living room looked like and what then afterwards I could get up and go into bed.
Yeah.
So that did make a big difference. And even knowing how we would have changed things if for any reason I needed to transfer, that we had like plan A, B, C, D, E.
I can imagine colour-coded.
Yeah, colour-coded, laminated.
Stuck on the fridge. We know what we're doing. Bags packed.
That's it. Exactly. I had a just-in-case bag.
Yeah.
You know, it had all my hypnobirthing stuff in it. So, like, I'm never, like, promising anyone and saying, do you know what, hypnobirthing's going to give you the best birth. And I have people that message me and think, like, you know, can you promise me a pain-free birth? Absolutely not.
No.
But it does make it better.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of when I fell into the absolute passion for it. Because the statistics are 1 in 3 women experience trauma in birth. But I think, like, my kind of experience with people I've worked with, mid-30s seems to be the most scared that women get.
Yeah.
And I think it is because when you're 18... You're like, you know, you go on a night out with no coat on because you're not thinking you're going to be cold later. So you kind of go into it a bit like, well, it's got to come out. So
exactly that. It's
but
very matter of fact. And then this time round, I was like, it's completely different.
Because everybody you know, your 3 sisters have all told you, you know, and that's all sitting somewhere in your like 100%. Subconscious.
Yeah. So talk to us then. So did you go and, I know you were doing your research, but did you go on like a course or how did it all come about?
So, first time I went on a course in Brighton, just the most amazing hypnobirthing teacher, and it was in Stamner Park. Yeah. And so after each session, we'd go for like a walk around the park, and it was just really nice. But so there's like different hypnobirthing, I guess, like teachers, like brands, basically, and this was quite American, and it was quite like calm, silent births. So all we watched was home births.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, well, do you know, first baby, I'm not sure. I want to go to the hospital. So that's why, like, I've evolved to, you know, my course covers all births. Because I get people that are like, I want to go to hospital. Fair enough. Yeah. If that's where you feel best. Let's make that the best place.
Yeah.
So, I did a course then. And then I did a refresher course for my second, which was just an online one.
Yeah.
Which is really good for the second time. I kind of think then it's not quite enough for your first time. Yeah. Just watching videos online because you can be a bit like passive.
Yeah.
And then what did we do? I mean, third baby.
Sort of don't you?
She kind of fell out now.
Yeah. No, you've done your home birth, you've done your hospital birth. Yeah. I guess you've got both. Yeah. And and so Harry was. We didn't get a birth pool, so I was like, that's going to be faff. I can't be bothered to fill it up. But with Millie, I was like, do you know what? I've tried twice for a water birth. Let's do the birth pool thing. Yeah. And she was born in the water then. Oh, but, how lovely.
You know, actually, the fact that I'd planned twice for water births and neither of them had happened, it didn't make it a negative experience. It just made it different.
Yeah. That's what I mean. When people have their like birthing plan appointment with their midwife, I just think it's honestly a load of rubbish. Unless there's something you specifically don't want. Like I didn't want pethidine, and they gave me it anyway. So I was like, you know, you can't plan for your birth. You can say how you'd like it to go, but I think the fact they call it a birth plan is actually a little bit daunting because until when you're having your first one, you genuinely think that's how it's going to go. And I think you're so judgmental on yourself after if it didn't go that way and you're really deflated.
Yeah,
so I think it should be like birth preferences, maybe, or
that's exactly what I call it on my course.
Do you? Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go.
I'm thinking about 5 different preferences.
Yeah.
Like I always say to people, do you know what? If for any reason you choose to have a C-section, and that is a big thing, is you choose.
Yeah.
So like things that are done to us versus things that we choose mentally is a huge difference.
Yeah.
So if you hear somebody's negative birth story and they say, I had to, I wasn't allowed, they made me, you know, you could have the exact same birth story, but somebody's telling it and saying, we chose to.
Yeah.
I had this because, and, you know, we chose, and understanding your choices. So that's why I think, like, you know, 5 or 6 preferences. And I even plan for a C-section. You know, say, actually, if for any reason we choose to have a C-section, this is what I want. Like, I had a playlist. And, you know, even third time had planned for that, to know that you can still have your oxytocin, you can still have, you know, I don't know, feeling good. You can still, like, calm your breathing down and use your essential oils and, But people don't know that. They think, like, do you know what? We've gone off the plan, slightly gone off the plan. Let's chuck the hypnobirthing book out the window. It's all gone to shit, you know.
Well, that's what they say. The minute you sort of lose your calm, I think there's a big thing that, like, that's it then. It's all just guns blazing. And when you get tensed up, it's obviously going to make you feel 10 times worse.
But everyone's going to have that tense at points. So, like, knowing how to bring yourself back down. If you know, I say everyone, most people have a point where they have a wobble and they're like, oh, I can't do this, or... You know, and you've got your partner bang with a script almost, 100%. Exactly what they're going to say. 1 step closer to meeting your baby, or let's do 5 breaths together. Let's get everyone out of the room, turn the lights off, refocus, you know, all those things.
Yeah. So talk to us about your actual training to become a hypnobirthing teacher. So when did you do that? Was it after all of the children, or did you do it midway through?
Midway through.
Oh,
so
wow.
After Charlie, I was like, I really like this. I really feel sad that people are having a really bad experience, you know, and because I don't know if it's since moving to Brighton, I've become a bit of a feminist, and I think we get a bit of a shit deal.
Oh yeah, we do.
And I think if 1 in 3 women are having trauma, that's not the women, that is the system's fault. So there's something wrong with the system that is traumatizing women, and only in our country. It's not global. So I was like, knew I was into it and knew I was preaching it and couldn't stop reading even after Charlie was born. But I was like, I think I might need to give birth again to check it's real.
Yeah.
So then Harry was born.
So he was your test.
He was the one where I was like, but I'd already booked on to do. So I did KG hypnobirthing, like accreditation diploma. And I did that when Harry was probably like 3 months old.
You're crazy.
Yeah,
like
there was method in my madness with a toddler and a 3-month-old. But yeah, with Charlie, I had really bad postnatal anxiety.
Oh, okay.
So when he was born, I think, and this is on Laura's this podcast as well, like your brain's going boom, 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 and you couldn't slow it down. And in my head, I was like, imagine if I had that, a new baby, and a traumatic birth to process. Like, I would not have coped. If I'd have had any sort of birth trauma with that, it just... So that's what I was like, do you know what? I want something to keep my brain busy.
Yeah.
And it was more, I'm going to do the course as a hobby. And I never saw it turning into anything, really. And then it's just kind of naturally...
Right.
Yeah. So I did, then I did the hypnotherapy diploma shortly after that. And then I think I first posted online when Harry was about 6 months old.
Oh, wow.
Just made the Instagram account and was like, called it Shoreham Hypnobirthing. And I was like, I'm just going to tell people, do you know what? It doesn't have to be awful. If I can make a couple of people's births a bit better. And then it kind of just grew, and I then made a website. And
so are you doing that alongside being a primary school teacher at the moment with 3 children?
I told you I've got a busy brain. Yes. So I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Wow. I teach 3 days a week at the minute, but I'm going down to 2 in September, and then that's when I'll do the yoga training.
Yeah.
I do really love teaching.
What year do you teach?
Year 3 at the minute.
Oh, that's a good age.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll always love teaching. I was in my last school 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And then I've just moved to a new school in January.
Oh.
And I I mean, I don't like the politics of it, of teaching at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, we're bringing in our own glue sticks sort of funding level, but don't start me on that.
Yeah, no, it's awful.
I love the children. And my new school is, really supportive, and everyone's just doing their best for the kids. But then this is like my love.
Yeah, this is your passion.
Yeah. Do you know what I would love to do one day, really far down the road, but I've thought about it in the night, and I have all my craziest ideas, is I would like to go into secondary schools with like your daughter at 14 and then give them a biology lesson, girls and boys, not just the girls, not just the boys sat in another room thinking it's disgusting, a biology lesson of the uterus, of what is happening inside their body and what happens in birth.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I didn't have that.
No.
Did you?
No way. Literally, I think as much as our sex education went was putting a condom on a banana and that was it.
Yeah.
That was all we was told.
Yeah. No, we did watch a video. Of the boys went, boys didn't watch that, and the girls watched one of a lady laid on her back screaming.
Oh, no, I didn't
And then
see
I
that.
think it ended with my science teacher was like, good luck, girls, don't get pregnant.
Oh my god.
Basically it. Yeah.
No, I just remember this one. I think this was at primary school and it was like the whole family were just walking around the house naked and I was like, that's weird.
I remember that.
Memory unlocked now. Yeah, that's literally the only thing I remember from it. I was like,
I remember that. Why did we watch that?
I've no idea. I was like, that is so weird. Imagine
How old
like
are you?
I think I was like in year 6 or something. But I was thinking, imagine my mum and dad just walking around naked next to me. I was like, that's really strange. But they were like all just like, hello in the morning, like marching up and down. I was like,
I have to find that video.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
yes, implement that in your hypnobirthing.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Right. So we've spoken about how you got into the industry. Can you tell us like some of the most important benefits of hypnobirthing? And for somebody that doesn't actually know what it is, like a brief description.
God,
If you can break
brief. So the hypnobirthing name I think is a bit misleading. So there's a few different like aspects to it. There is the breathing and your kind of, it's a bit cliche, but calling it your toolkit of like, breathing, relaxations, how your environment's going to affect you. That's really big. But also there's your birth partner, whoever they are, knowing that they are going to be your best support. Mm-hmm. And then the big bit for me is like choices and being informed. So, actually that language of we chose to, and this is how we are going to make our preferences known, and asking questions. Mm-hmm. Like other antenatal education does not teach you to ask questions and to say, do you know what's the benefits? What's the risks of this? What are my options?
And I think as well to trust your body, they don't get told that.
Yeah.
And like you're the
and you know that, like from your experience. Yeah.
I think you just get told to like be quiet and those sort of like they know what they're doing, but this approach is just, as you say, so much more beneficial.
Yeah, and it's I get loads of people that come second time that say I wish I'd done it first time, and I think it's that first time people go, it's the unknown, maybe it's not for me, or I don't want to put pressure on myself, but it's so important first time to take that. It's not a trial run. Mm-hmm. It could really affect you. And a negative experience could really affect you postnatally and postnatal mental health. Mm. There's a direct link between birth trauma and postnatal mental health.
Yeah, I had postnatal depression afterwards because, mixed between that and my relationship breakdown, but all of it sort of all spun together, so definitely.
Yeah, and that loss of control and people not knowing why something has happened to you and your recovery, actually recovering from something that's been traumatic mentally it's gonna affect your body as well. That's kind of like my main pusher for it, I think, is like it is that happy mum, happy baby. And if you feel that something's happened to you and there's people that don't even know why. Yeah. I had to be induced, or I had to have this, and they haven't known that they can ask why and say like, find out more.
As I say, I've said before on one of the episodes, I ended up doing birth stories, which is like an NHS thing. And just, so they can actually go through all of your notes. Because I didn't, at the time, I was just like, okay, like, I don't really know what's going on. But when I actually listened back to it, I'm like, okay, so now that makes sense as to why that happened the way it happened. Yeah. But when you're in it as well, I think you're so focused on getting this baby out of you don't really take it all in at that point anyway. So, yeah, no, definitely.
And you don't know you've got choices.
No.
Sorry.
It's true. You don't.
Yeah.
Like when someone's saying, as I said, I didn't want pethidine. She was like, well, you can't, that's all you can have. And I was like, well, I need some gas and air. She was like, no, you can have pethidine or nothing because you're not in established labour. Meanwhile, I was 10 centimetres. Crazy.
So frustrating for you as
I know.
well.
Yeah.
And do you know, the hypnobirthing thing, I always say me and my husband wouldn't complain about anything. I don't know, I'm not somebody that would in a restaurant be like, oh, it's cold or anything. I'd eat it and give a tip. You know, I just am not that person.
Yeah.
I wish I was. But in birth, you have to be that person that asks.
Yeah.
And it's no fault of kind of medical people, and I'm never, you know, going to bash midwives, or it's the system that they're in. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's our guidelines and it's our restrictions on things that they kind of have to follow. However, making sure your care is personalised to you.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, you know your own body. Mm. And especially if you've done hypnobirthing and you've connected with your body throughout your pregnancy, and you've kind of, you know, done yoga as well. Like there's proven benefits of pregnancy yoga for labour.
Really? Wow.
You know your own body, you know baby, and you know when things are ramping up or things are not, because you know. So actually, I think that confidence, if you've got that taken away in labour, is taken away in your like first steps of motherhood.
Definitely.
And so you want that people to give birth and be confident.
Have you ever thought about being a doula with your hypnobirthing? Because I feel like I would want you there.
No, I talk too much. People have asked me this.
They said like come and then ask you to be there. Have they? Yeah, I would be that person.
A few times people have been like, you know, I have had a couple of dads text me in labour, be like, what do I do? Like a few messages here and there. But actually all I ever need to do is be like, you know.
Yeah. Because
you know your partner better than anyone else. Yeah. So you know how to make her feel good. I don't. And so, you know, is hypnobirthing, some of it is common sense, which we just don't, and common sense belittles it a little bit, but we don't use it in birth. So, you know, if you come in from a shit day at work, your partner's going to put their arm on you, probably rub your back, probably get you something to make you comfortable, probably going to stand near you, offer some words of praise, and then they're not going to let 3 strangers in and touch you.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're going to go, can you come back in a minute? Exactly. And so it's all of those things. And then on top of that, you know, it's your privates. Yeah. Like we teach kids, don't we?
Yeah.
You're probably doing Pantosaurus now.
Yeah, literally. So with your courses, I've seen you've got online and face-to-face, is that right? Or is it only if they've already done the initial one with you, then they can do it online?
I just do a little like taster online. Right. So I only do an hour one. Obviously I did online in lockdown.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I just think it's something that you can get so much more being in person.
Yeah.
I think that, so yeah, I don't really do like a full course online. I think some people do a really good job at it, but I just want people to like interrupt me and ask a question and then go, do you know what, I'm really worried about this, and do you know?
Yeah.
And be able to find the exact resources that they want rather than...
Is it one-to-one or is it a group setting? How do you do it, or can they do either?
Either, yeah.
Oh,
so some people, so one-to-one I go to their house, which is magic because you're already really relaxed.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do a relaxation, you want to do it at home on your own sofa because that's the best place to do it. But yeah, then I also do groups as well. So the group will run over like 4 sessions, and each week has a different topic.
Okay.
And then I found a few people, so when I've been doing it for a couple of years, these groups every other month, I found a few people that were like, I'd like to try hypnobirthing, but I don't really want to do a full course. I don't know if it's for me. So then I kind of made a like 1-day workshop. Okay. So I did a shortened version, condensed it all, and then I do 10 till 3. So that's for like, you know, someone who's not sure. And then like, I don't know. So then, I marketed it as like the Better Birth Workshop.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go into all of the science and all of the statistics and facts, but do you know what? I'm going to give you a little toolkit, and I'm going to give you some relaxations and some birth partner tips and things like that just to make it better. So, yeah. Do better. Sorry, that's a really long answer.
That's really good, because I think people then have the option, don't they?
Yeah.
Like what they want to do and what works for them. So with your one-to-one, how often do they run? Do you just do one full day with them, or
I tend not to. People are sick of me by that. Because the workshop is interactive. Yeah. So pure teacher style. It's a bit of a carousel and 5 different activities. Yeah. And then, with your birth partner, you move around them.
Yeah.
When I go to someone's house, I usually do 4 evenings for a couple of hours each time. Because, actually in the first session, it's nice to get to know somebody. And then I kind of get their feel for how, don't want to use the word hippie, but how into it they are, because there's a spectrum of hypnobirthing, right? There's, Kate Middleton, who did hypnobirthing and had a doula and probably did hours of training.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody who listens to a podcast and thinks, I'll give it a go. So, someone, everyone's on there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I have to gauge that a little bit to pitch it right.
Going from there.
Yeah.
With your partner's involvement, I know some men, not to stereotype, or some other female partners or non-binary, whatever, they might not be able to attend all of the sessions. How important is that they have that person there? Because going on what you've just told me, I feel like they need that support network there to understand what they've been taught also.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be your partner. I've had people bring their mum, or, sometimes with mums it can be a trickier one because they've got their own package to undo, along the way, and they've got their own things in their subconscious about birth. I do like it if partners come to all of them, but I'm quite good at kind of sending them resources and catching them up if they've missed one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for mums, to know that their partner has all that knowledge.
Yeah.
So the fact that with my control freakness, that I knew that if for any reason my brain turned off in birth, I knew that, it was my boyfriend at the time. I married him after he was a good birth partner twice. I checked out that for sure. I knew that he could answer any question that I wanted.
Yeah.
And that he knew my wishes for any circumstance. And, he knew that he would ask questions and stop somebody from giving me an episiotomy before I had informed consent.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things.
Well, as I say, because sometimes you're just out of it and you don't realise where you... Yeah.
And that... I taught a neonatal doctor from Brighton, so she's an amazingly clever, lady who sees birth all the time in Brighton. Yeah. And on her birth preferences, her top one was, I want to give informed consent. And I was like, why'd you put that? And she said, because I've seen so many people have an episiotomy, so be cut without giving informed consent.
That's crazy.
In the hospitals, because it's just that conveyor belt of care.
Do you know
and
what?
She
that
was
was
on
the
it.
biggest thing in my head was that I didn't want stitches in both of mine. And I feel like I manifested it. I didn't have to, thank God.
Yeah.
But that was more scary for me. And do you know why that is? Because my mum told me it was horrendous.
Yeah.
So then that's in my head now, whereas I never would have known. It probably isn't that bad. Do you know what I mean? But she gave birth that many years ago. Things have changed since then. But whatever you get, as you said about the mums, they put their 2 pence in, don't they, as a birthing partner? And she's like, oh yeah, you don't want to have stitches. And I'm like, oh God, no, I don't.
Yeah.
But then I didn't, so thank God.
Yeah.
So,
there's so many things like that.
Me, that was my top scary thing to happen to me during birth. And
Yeah. People get that a lot.
So I had a few questions come in. So don't mind me asking these. So is hypnobirthing suitable for all women regardless of their birthing preferences? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, so
a lot of people now are choosing as well to have C-sections just because.
Yeah. And I do a C-section specific course. So it's only 2 hours of a private one with people. And the feedback that I've had from that has been amazing. So I had somebody her first birth was really traumatic. And I came and she was like, I'm not sure whether to book an elective or not, but we wanted to have a chat. And by the end she was like, yeah, birth is birth. If you're booking an elective because that's protecting yourself, amazing. And seeing it as a positive, not we have that, don't we? I had to have a C-section. No, you didn't. Birth is birth. And you can produce oxytocin. You can have a really positive, magical experience, however it is. So yeah, anything. And that's why I kind of hate the name hypnobirthing. It sounds like, it sounds like only drug-free births in the woods, but it's not. It's really not.
And I think as well, it can be tailored to each person and their preferences. That's why I do think if I was to have another one, I think I'd have like a 1-to-1 with you to know exactly my preferences. Yeah, I'll be coming.
But you could have twins though, didn't you say?
Sorry, but you need to be my doula, and then you're going to be like, no, get me out of there.
A few hypnobirthing teachers do it. Do both the hypnobirthing and the doula. I've seen it a few times with people I trained with.
I can see myself being like that and being like, no, she knows exactly what to do here. Right, can hypnobirthing be used in combination with any other pain management during labour? You've just said that, haven't you?
Yeah. No, if you want an epidural, have an epidural, but go into epidural knowing the benefits and the risks of it, so that at the time that you can say, do you know what, these are the benefits and the risks, and actually what's my alternative? Maybe you may want to try like water first, because that's an effective pain relief, or a TENS machine, which is an effective pain relief, or, hot water bottle or a walk, or have your options, but don't say, it's those people that go, oh, I had to have an epidural and I didn't want one. No, if you want one at the time, you can have it, but it's knowing what you can do first and knowing the risks of it.
Yeah.
I think because, all interventions in birth have a benefit and a risk. And the hospitals are really good at telling us the benefit of an intervention and the risk of not having it. That's not a balanced view.
Definitely.
So they should tell us the benefit of a proposed intervention, the risks of the intervention, then the benefits of not having it, and the risks of not having it. So just knowing you've got some more questions to ask and say, can you tell me what these are?
Yeah. And I think, again, going back to like your birthing partner, knowing that that's what you want to get to those answers, rather than, when you're in that much pain, sometimes our heads don't take us there.
Exactly.
So I think it is really important.
Yeah.
And how do I get my partner on board with hypnobirthing? They really don't believe in it, but I want to do it.
I love this question. I get this all the time.
Yeah, because it is normally the women that are like zen and calm and chill, and they know what they want.
Yeah, and they've read about it and been like, do you know what? My friend's sister did hypnobirthing and she had a good experience, so maybe I want to try it.
Yeah.
My partner was not on board. He kind of went with me so that I didn't cry. He was really sceptical and was like, are they going to hypnotise you so you don't feel any pain? No, that's not it. It's kind of just explaining to them, do you know, it's a bit of mindfulness and it's some knowledge for you. And the feedback that I get from, stereotypically dads that go, oh my God, my role is really important and now I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that view, that we have that view, don't we, of dads, that they're sat on their phones in the corner eating a McDonald's, pissing everyone off.
Yeah.
But actually they are so important. Yeah. They're like absolutely vital.
And I think it makes them feel important doing this as well, because they realise what a pivotal role they played. Yeah. It's not just about the woman. You need to be here and be involved.
Yeah, and not being scared.
Yeah.
Seeing somebody that you love in pain is really scary. So it does help them as well to know, firstly, what's happening for that contraction, what's happening with your muscles, so that you can support them through. Or your muscles are doing this and they're going to stop in a minute and you're going to have a break and we're going to meet our baby soon, all those things.
Yeah.
Rather than rabbit in headlights.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon they can do to persuade them? I would just literally cry and say, I need you to do it because I'm pregnant. I would pull out the pregnancy card.
I think just saying, do you know what, all it is antenatal education. Yeah. And, potentially that partner might be saying, oh, I'll do the hospital NCT with you or whatever. It's the same thing. It's an antenatal education that's really thorough, and that you need that. And I know it's a bit late by that point, but I think it shows their first steps into parenthood.
Definitely.
I think I've had a few that have chosen not to come at all, and the mums have gone home so buzzing for it that actually that they've got them on board afterwards, being like, well, cats do it. This is how dogs give birth. This is how cows. This is really natural. It's really normal, and give your partner some statistics.
Yeah.
So show them, there's a study of hypnobirthing, and I think that I'll have to find the exact thing, but it says that you're almost a fifth more likely to have a normal physiological birth by using hypnobirthing.
Wow.
So find the stats. Dr. Sarah Wickham's really good. Stick them under their nose, a graph if that's going to make it. Do you know what I mean? A bar chart here, put it under their face and go, are you going to do this for me? Because this is my chances at increasing a positive experience.
And ultimately, it's only going to benefit them if your partner's had a really great time. Because if they haven't, then you're going to have to deal with that afterwards.
Yeah.
You're going to have to deal with the aftermath of a newborn baby and your partner being really, really low because of what's happened to them.
Yeah.
So ultimately, if it's going to make them feel better.
Yeah, and you know, birth partners can be affected, like, can't they?
Yeah,
afterwards.
definitely. Yeah, you'd be traumatised.
Yeah.
Do you find that your clients that come to you are older or younger?
I get a real mix.
Oh, okay.
I don't really get really young. You know, I don't often get like teen mums. But, do you know, I'd absolutely love it if I did.
Yeah.
Do you know, and I know I'm not the best like business person because anyone can just message me on Instagram and be like, I'm thinking of doing hypnobirthing. And I'll just send you a list of links and podcasts and people to follow because I just want people to have it better.
Yeah.
You know, even if you don't want to do a full course. I've got a few friends back home in Plymouth who obviously they haven't come to my hypnobirthing course. And I'm like, do this, watch this, watch this, you know, listen to this podcast, just get into it and then you'll be hooked.
Yeah. Oh, bless you. That's really nice. And then, the last question was, do you offer group classes? Which, yes, you do. So
yeah, I do.
And I saw on your social media, you're pretty booked up right now, aren't you?
Yeah. It's suddenly like, you went a slow like start to the year. I don't know if there wasn't many babies. And then suddenly, August, I've only got one space left on my workshop. September's full. And then my next workshop's in November because I'm doing my yoga training. So, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
It's a busy year.
Yeah, definitely. And is there like a preference on the timescale before you have your baby to when you go and do your hypnobirthing training?
Anywhere from 20 weeks.
Okay.
I think if you've got a really anxious mum, like me, I was pregnant, we did it at 21 weeks.
Yeah.
And that worked for me because I was organised and I need to carry on. And I had my like practicing and labels by the toilet, you know.
Yeah.
But I have taught someone's last session on their due date.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they, you know, most first babies are born at 41 weeks. You know, even just having that knowledge so that you don't build yourself up.
For this one day.
For 40 weeks, which, you know, statistically, the baby's not going to come on that day. I'm sorry. No. Like 4% come on your due date, 11% come before. And then 85% of babies, we blame them for being late. And we don't blame the guy who calculates the statistic.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, because it is crazy. I knew the exact date that I fell pregnant with Jude, and they added on like 2 weeks. Yeah. They go on your first day. And I was like, it's not.
It's not that day.
Yeah, I know when I fell pregnant.
Even IVF babies, they know the minute.
Yeah.
You know,
and
like, they still.
Yeah, why is that? Do you know?
It's the history of it is really, really geeky, but it's calculated. A man did a small scale study of a few women and decided that they were pregnant for around about 9 moons. So that's it, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
In France, you're pregnant for 41 weeks, so your due date is calculated at, here we calculate at 40 weeks, France 41, Kenya's 43. So there's not even like any worldwide thing.
Oh, how crazy.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
But the World Health Organisation says anywhere from 37 to 42 weeks is a normal length of pregnancy.
Okay.
So not having the ring around that day on your diary and cancelling everything from 37 weeks and sitting there being like, right, you know, takes all that pressure off, you know, and takes your kind of anxiousness away from being like, oh, I'm building it up and I'm sitting here. And then you go one day over and people go, oh, what's wrong?
Do you know what? The annoying thing is all the text.
Oh,
like any news. It's like, do you know what?
Yeah.
So I went over with Jude by 5 days, but I had Ez 5 days early. My waters just went. I didn't have any pain. They just went. And they were two completely different things. But honestly, those 5 days, I felt like I could throw my phone across the room. I was like, stop texting me. You're not even asking how I am. You're like, any news on the baby? Any news? I'm like, oh my God, no. And I'm not telling you now when I have. So.
No. That's the tip I do on my free thing. I'm always add a week.
Yeah.
And for your own mental, add a week. Book something really nice for 41 weeks, like a massage or your nails. And if you get there, amazing, because you get a massage. But if you don't, then bonus, you got your baby early.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, 41 weeks is the day.
That's a little treat, Yeah,
I had when Charlie was born, we got tickets to Bridget Jones's Baby. Do you remember when that came out? Yeah, and he was born by then, so we didn't go. But, you know, I wasn't devastated. I had a baby.
Yeah, you had a baby.
I didn't want to be in the cinema.
That was going to be my next question, being nosy. Were yours early, on time, late?
Well, I was the small statistic. I hate telling people this because I like you to gear yourself up to go way over.
Yeah.
So the boys were 8 days and 9 days early.
Wow.
So there is no correlation between like each of your pregnancies, whether you've had one early baby, you'll have another one. But in the back of my head, I thought, I've had 2 early babies. Millie, 2 weeks late.
Oh, no.
So she's been causing me trouble since then.
Yeah, we were just saying before we started recording about girls, they're just a whole different kettle of fish.
She made us wait. So she was, well, I think almost 2 weeks. And then...
Did they say about being induced?
Yeah.
You didn't, obviously, no?
Well, interestingly, I kind of knew this pressure exists, and I've taught people for 5 years before that this pressure exists. And I went to my 41-week midwife appointment. My actual midwife was off sick, and I had somebody different. And I sat down and she went, I can't believe you're still here. Why aren't you booked for an induction? And I was like, oh, she said that I can still go. And she said, no, we need to book you now. And got her phone out. And I was sat there and she says, right, can you go in tonight at 7 o'clock? I thought, you're setting me up to fail if I'm going in at 7 o'clock at night because I'm going to have one night's no sleep. It's not a good time to be induced.
No.
I said, actually, I've got parents, even for my son, and I was hoping to go if I'm still pregnant. And then she said, okay, right, we'll book you for Monday morning, but I have to book you in. So I did leave that appointment and I cried in the car park. And I rang my husband and said, they've booked me for an induction. Like, I don't want it. I feel fine. Like, I was fed up. And then basically cried all night and was like, I'm the worst hypnobirthing teacher.
Oh, no.
The next day, I rang Worthing Hospital, rang triage, and I said, I've been booked in for this. Can you cancel it? And can I have a second opinion from somebody else? So they found my midwife, who was my midwife with Harry, and I had an appointment with her and talked through everything, got rid of all those like fears. Ask, can I still have my home birth if I go to 42 weeks in a day or in an hour? Is it 12 o'clock on, wanted all those questions. She was born that night.
Wow.
And it was the change. There was no way she was going to be born when I was at home, stressed, crying, upset, booked in for something I didn't want and, shitting myself.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And then, I had that appointment. She was amazing. Went home, me and the boys played the birth playlist. We got out my wedding photo album. We looked at their baby photos. We danced around the lounge and I was like, I've got to get the oxytocin flowing. You've got to come, girl. And then I put them both to bed and I was like, I know it's tonight. And then she was born 1:10.
Wow.
So, after they'd gone to bed.
So they were at home as well?
Yeah, upstairs.
Did you wake them up when she was born or did you wait till the next morning?
No, it was the next morning, yeah. We watched a movie in labour. We watched We're the Millers. Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Really funny. Yeah. And then we watched another movie when she was born, so we did stay up all night. And my poor husband had to I was too stinged to pay £15 on the birth pool to get the two-way pump. I don't take my advice. Buckets, 2 hours. I was just sat on the sofa with the newborn like this. 2 hours. He ruined my curtains because he spilled it up the curtains going out the door. I was lifting buckets of birth pool water and throwing them into the garden. So two-way pumps, a tenner.
Yeah. Just get it.
And then we went and got them up. I went upstairs. Charlie's on one side, they share a room. Charlie's on one side in a bunk bed and Harry's down here in his bed. And I went over. I thought my stomach had gone, because you do, don't you? When the baby comes out, you think it's all gone. Yeah. So I went over, I said, Harry, what do you notice? Look, Mummy's tummy's gone. And Charlie, my eldest, leaned over in his bed. He went, no, it's not, still massive, Mum.
Oh my God.
I was like, I mean the baby's downstairs. Okay, you ruined this moment for me.
Oh my God, that just cracked me up because I remember literally a week after I gave birth, I put on this outfit and I took a photo and I thought, I look amazing. I'm so skinny. And I sent it to my partner at the time and he was like, don't worry, babe, you'll lose it soon. Okay. I thought I looked great, but clearly not. Yeah. I've been moaning that morning about how big I felt, so that's why. But then I put on this outfit.
But you did, didn't you? Oh, it's all squishy.
Yeah.
I remember being able to get closer to the boys.
Yeah.
I could hug them so much tighter when when your stomach was gone. It was nice.
How did you find? Did they adapt well to? Because obviously they didn't have. They probably don't remember a time without each other. But how did you find having that gap?
Oh, yeah, I think she's annoying them.
Yeah.
I think we're in the thick of toddlerhood now.
Yeah.
So you know, she wants everything they've got. They've just got this new box of magnets. They spend ages in school holidays building this magnet house. It's really impressive. She just walks over, boom. And you know that,
those magnets drive me insane because Jude's the same. He literally will build something, spend so long, and then he'll accidentally knock it over and there's tears. And I'm like,
no, you've got to take a photo of everything. You see my camera roll. I'm like, don't worry, boys, I've got a photo. And I just show an old one.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's fine.
Top tips.
Amazing.
So do you want to just let everyone know where they can find you and all your resources that you've got available?
Yeah. So, well, at the minute, I'm sure I'm hypnobirthing. What I'm going to do when I'm doing yoga is just change my name to Vicki Thorpe, Hypnobirthing and Yoga.
Yeah.
So my Instagram might change, and I'm in the process of doing my website and logo. So yeah, try both. Find me on one of them.
Yeah.
But there's loads of free links on my website. There is a page called Free Resources, and it's got a few cringy YouTube videos that I've done over the years. It's got some links to some podcasts. I share loads on my Instagram. That's probably the best place to go, because I'll always share other people's stories or podcasts, or just, you know, I just like to give someone a little persuader of like, check out Hypnobirthing, and then people are hooked. So that's, and then I do a free taster every other month. So even, you know, I say to people, even if you're not local, sign on, sit, listen for an hour in your pajamas and learn some stuff and make it a bit better. And that's a good place to take your partner. Just putting it on, and then, you know, actually it can persuade them.
Well, I think seeing how the buzz that you would get from it will make them anyway, hopefully.
And read like a few birth stories and just look at something that says hypnobirthing on it. You know, even if you think, oh, it's hippie, it's not for me, that's what I get a lot.
Yeah.
You know, there's a spectrum of it that you can get really hippie hypnobirthing courses with chanting and all of that, or you can get more factual ones that are evidence-based, and you just find what's right for you, because there is someone for everyone.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, make sure you check her out, guys.
Best piece of advice, I think, is having faith in yourself, actually, and that's come with age, definitely. Like, you know, I'm 33 now, and I probably didn't have that when I was 26 when I gave birth the first time.
Yeah.
But actually, having faith of being like, do you know what, I can do this, and even just saying to yourself, I can do it. I've planned, I've prepared, I can do this. Positive affirmations all the way.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you. Well, guys, you know where to find me. Follow on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube at Mummahood The Podcast. Make sure that you leave a review on whatever platform you're listening to us on, and share with a friend. We will see you same time next week. Love you. Bye.